What's good, ladies and gentlemen? We are back again. Welcome to another episode of Got This in Black. We are back. It feels good to be back. I say that every time. Like, we aren't always back and we aren't always shooting, but it always feels...
What you should be saying is, it feels good to be black.
It does feel good to be black. It does not feel good because it's mad hot outside, but it feels good to be black. I just want to...
a reminder of where we're from.
I want to wish everybody well. Hope your mental spaces are doing well. Hope everything is in abundance. Hope everybody around you is good, man. The summer always gets kind of crazy. It reminds me when Chance the Rapper said everybody dies in the summer, so pray for a little more spring. It's hot. Yeah. People start to act a fool, but I love summer. Yes, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Follow us on Instagram, Got This in Black. Today, man, we have a special guest. As you see, sitting to my left, we have the ever-talented Chaun Collins with us.
What's going on?
And then to my lefter, my favorite lefter is Hanifa, of course.
Hi, everyone.
So before we get started, let's talk about what we're wearing. We always like to kind of go and see what people are wearing. Hanifa, kick us off.
Yeah, so I have these black, like, pleather pants from Hanifa that I'm obsessed with.
Okay.
They were sold out for a really long time, and then she brought them back.
Okay.
And I'm so glad she brought them back, and they fit so well, and I love them. And then nothing else is really of note that's like black owned or anything like that. I can plug, I guess, my nail tech because she's black. I go to Nail Candy in Ellicott City.
Okay.
But really, that's it for me today.
Okay. I'm about to shout out my nail tech. You know what I'm saying? All right, Chaun, what you got on today?
Today I'm just keeping it simple. I have a Amari Exchange T-shirt, Givenchy denim. No, I'm kidding. They're I think these are.
Ooh.
I was about to say, like,
Fancy, huh?
I think I got these probably from Urban Outfitters or something like that. And then for footwear, I'm wearing Chaun Collins.
Of course.
Gotta be.
Shoot, if I made shoes, I wear them joints every day too. Me, I have on a full Fair Guy fit. Got the Fair Guy Californians. These are super comfortable. I love them. Pants, crew neck, mock neck, or whatever it's called. So shout out to Jerry. Jerry, please come on the pod, please. We would love to have you on the podcast. So as you know, part of the reason of this podcast, we want to highlight some of the creatives in the industry, especially black creatives, and Chaun is definitely one of them. So, Chaun, let's give the people a little bit of your story. Tell us a little bit about your childhood growing up. Like, I know we spoke before. You've moved around a little bit as well too. So, start from even just a kid.
All right. So, from the beginning, I was born in Liberia. Born and raised in Liberia.
Shout out Liberia.
You know, most of my childhood around that period I don't remember most of, because actually in the climate where I actually moved to the United States, it was kind of we were forced out, so because of war. So you know, much of that time in Liberia, you know, is not really hasn't really been part of me, but I still have my attachment to Liberia. You know, my family, everything is like raw Liberian. So, yeah. You know, but we left Liberia, came to New York, and that's basically most of my life has been in New York.
How old were you when you moved from Liberia to New York?
Around 6.
Okay, so you spent your first 6-7 years in Liberia. Okay.
Yeah, I was about 6 years old when I got to Queens, New York. Okay. So we lived in, because my mom was young when she had me, so like she had a struggle basically when we came to New York. So we went from, she was my grandfather and my grandmother, they were well off in Liberia. So my mom had like a shock change, you know, it was very different, and she had to learn to build and get everything on her own. Mm-hmm. So we with the assistance of family, of course, here and there. But for the most part, she had to, maintain, what she could for herself and myself and my brother. But yeah, growing up in New York, pretty much was kind of tough. We bounced around from Laurelton to Long Island to Southside Jamaica, Queens, and then to the Avenue. I don't know if New Yorkers just on here are familiar with those areas. But
we got some New York viewers and some New York friends, so
yeah.
it's familiar.
Yeah, so just bounced around. The concrete jungle, left one jungle, moved to another one. But I think that experience really helped me understand like where I was going to go with my life in the future. Mm-hmm. I think struggle promotes like change and progress. I think people you get too comfortable in your situation, you don't progress in life. But yeah, so that pushed me, and then from there I came to Maryland, for school, and I have a bigger family down here I didn't know of, and yeah, now since I've been in the DMV for the longest now, it's like kind of home.
How old were you when you moved from New York to Maryland?
So probably like I'd say like 16.
16.
Okay. I came to the DMV, and yeah, I mean, we bounced around again from school to school. Like I went to a different school every year in high school, but it wasn't like I was bad or anything, But it's just that because of certain changes in our lives, we were able to just stay steady. So, I mean, I met a lot of new people every year, so which is cool for me. But you couldn't really like. Some people grow up with a group of friends that they build with and everything like that. I didn't have that, so every person was a new contact, and moved on from there. But then from there, being in the DMV, I went on to school. I went to back to Delaware, and I started learning web development. But before then, I don't know if you want to segue into that but that's just my background, how I got to the DMV.
Okay.
So. Hope I'm not saying too much.
No.
We gonna get there. We gonna get there.
We definitely hear from you. I guess like speak to a little bit, because I only moved once in my life. I think we moved when I was in 3rd grade, and I think I cried when we moved because I was like, bro, I don't want to leave my friends and stuff like that. So like, talk a little bit about like, if you can remember, like how it felt to be constantly moving, like adjusting to like new environments and things of that nature.
I think for me, I was more so focused on the next opportunity.
Okay.
I didn't feel as though I was losing friends. I felt like my friends are my brothers, my family members, so I'll always have them. So for me, it was just like, all right, when we were moving, I was like, cool, what I'm about to do next, who I'm about to meet, who I'm about to set up,
great mindset.
And, that's just how I moved, even from, just from moving from New York to Maryland to back to Delaware. Like, that's always been like, I wonder, the type of people I'm going to be introduced to and type of.
That's the entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah. Basically, Chaun said, I'm not a crybaby like you are, without saying it. But okay, so I know you talked a little about web development. So I guess where, like what age did you start messing around with Photoshop, and talk about your learning process?
I think, so I mean.
So sorry, was web development learned first, or was Photoshop?
Photoshop.
Okay, so let's go to Photoshop. Around what age are we talking?
So I mean, I was always artsy, like y'all are. I discovered there's a whole bunch of art on their wall.
Well, it's embarrassing. You guys can never see it.
No, we're definitely going to show it one day.
No,
thanks for Chaun. I appreciate that. We are definitely going to show
it.
Don't. Nah, but I've always been artsy. I always used to be really good at drawing. I used to draw people for Time magazines and stuff like that, and cartoons and stuff. And then I transitioned on to painting, and I was really good at painting as well. And then I, transitioned over. I always liked fashion. Being in New York, there's a heavy fashion scene.
Yeah.
New York has some of the best shopping.
Yeah.
Just
I was going to ask how that like formed, but continue.
Every aspect of New York has their own. Every borough has like their own type of fashion for So, but New York is heavy in fashion, and it's always fast. So I kind of like got into that. I was like, started with T-shirts, started painting on T-shirts, and like I had a lot of customers from a young age, and the demand was going crazy. So I was like, man, I need to figure out ways to make this process a little bit faster, because I'll take like a day to make a shirt, make one sale, and then I have like 5-10 other shirts to do, and I'm like slaving over it, you know.
Right.
I'm like, I got to send these prices up, you know, for as much work I'm putting in,
Right.
and then, or figure out a shorter way to, you know, make them. So I started learning graphic design and Photoshop, and I started teaching myself. Honestly, I didn't know what the heck I was doing, because I don't even know how I discovered Photoshop, honestly. But prior to even, you know, being in that art world, when again getting into school, like I already taught myself Photoshop, and you know, from that point on, producing shirts and everything became digital. So I create my artwork on Photoshop, then have it printed on a shirt. Then it was moving faster, and I was getting more money. So, and I was like, okay, I can see that there's potential in what I'm doing. So I was like, all right, I need to move on now. I need to build a website, you know. And I was like maybe 12, 13, and I Googled web developer.
Hold on, I just have to stop. Like this, this is just bananas.
12, 13.
12, like he's already got a hustle by 12 selling shirts. Now at 12, he's learned Photoshop. He started out making his own. Just listen. Like this is mind boggling to me.
Yeah.
So started his own hand shirts, and then he said, okay, I'm going to teach myself Photoshop at 12.
Wait. At what age were you selling these painted T-shirts?
Yeah, it was younger. I think I started like around 9 years old, and then and it was crazy.
And also, wait, I also want to know how you were. Okay, sorry, I'm interrupting. I'm like
Okay.
excited. Go ahead.
Yeah, it started like around 9 years old. What's crazy
Okay.
about it, like when I look back on it, like right now I say I don't have enough patience to learn any new skills. You know, I'm kind of like set in my ways now. But I look back at myself and how I was younger. Like I took the initiative to learn almost anything and everything, and I did it so quickly. Like I built an LLC for myself way back then. Like now I have several brands, you know, and for me I'm like, I gotta do the LLC, gotta get an EIN, tax ID. They'll just go through the whole structure, business number, business name, fax name, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, dang, how did I put all that together when I was younger? I don't know, you know, I was driven, you know. I'm still driven now, but it fascinates me, you know, just looking back. But
I think it's just different when you're a kid. It's just like as you grow, like society and all the things, more responsibilities.
Yeah.
It's like as a kid, you don't have to think about that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's definitely true. Because there was no consequence for me in my head. It's just like I'm going to be wherever I picture I'm going to be. You know. Right. So.
And like, who were your customers at that time?
So it started off with my friends, and my friends told me their friends. And then like people in high school just started rocking my brand and stuff like that. They're like, where you get it from?
So cool.
Yeah, and then it started spreading out, you know.
It's crazy.
I knew I was big when I had a customer from Michigan. I was like, what the hell? I don't know how you found me.
That's dope.
We in different states now.
Yeah. And I was using MySpace at the time. MySpace, yeah.
Wow.
At 9 years old, I was in my room playing, and he's out here flipping T-shirts. Then at 12, he's like, I need a website. Let me
sneaking, trying to watch TV in the
Google
basement.
How to make a website at 12, 13.
Yeah, 12, 13, I was using MySpace and everything for most of my stuff. Yeah, I went viral a lot of times actually because of social media, but I'll talk about those times a lot. You know, moving on.
Okay, so now we're at 12. I need Chaun needs a website. So what was your next move?
Oh yeah, so I Googled website builder, website developer, something like that along those lines, and the first link I saw, I said, all right, cool, I'm gonna go with this one. Click, and then saw the number, and I like to talk with people, you know, directly, so they can, you know, relate whatever I need, so and so they can hit me too as well. So call the number and got on the phone. And I'm like, hi, I'm Chaun. You know, I'm trying to get a little website for my clothing business and everything. It's booming right now. So I think if you would be interested in trying to help me, I help you, you help me. You know what I'm saying? Right. So the guy was cool and everything. He's like, okay, yeah, I can do this. I can put this there. I was amped, and he was like, yeah. So you know, it'll cost you, you know, not anything big, but just $10,000. I said, hold up.
Whoa.
I mean, business is booming, but my guy, he's like,
It's not
yeah.
that booming.
Not anything big, just 10,000, just 10K, 10 stacks.
10K for one website, and
Did
I
you
just
know
worked.
you think you knew how old you were?
Yeah, I think at the time you could probably hear my voice.
I can't imagine being an adult asking a 12-year-old. Yeah, I need 10.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's
crazy.
Maybe I sold myself too much. But yeah, I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna call you back. I clicked off the phone. I was like, I'm not about to call that name back. I was like, cool. I'm gonna figure this out. And the downside to me, I don't really like reading. Reading's not like my major thing for me. But if I want to figure out how to do something or how to learn how to do it, I open a book. So that's what I did. Like I went to the library, got so many books, and just started learning basic HTML, CSS, and everything like that, and then slowly progressed into different aspects of web development. And and I taught myself all of that. And I remember my first website, I hosted it online and everything like that. And then it was fully pictures. Like I created on Photoshop, and I sliced everything up, and then I exported it like as a HTML, and then sent it and put it onto my cPanel, and then host it and put it out there to the world. That site, you will never find it. You will never find that website because, when it comes down to websites, it's text. That's how you get tracked.
Right.
That's how your
That's
brain.
how I was building websites too.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot. That sliced picture thing that I had up, it was not anything good. So I just progressed from there, and then I was able to fully build a portfolio, off of graphic design and web development and everything like that. So
yeah, to our younger, what is it, Gen Z audience? Yeah. Back in the day when you wanted to research something, you went to the public library and you checked out books. You had a public library card. Everything wasn't on Google, but that's just to let y'all
And you
know.
were manually building these websites. It wasn't like Wix. Drag and
Wix
drop.
and WordPress, all that stuff. Like, nah.
These web platforms to make things easier when they weren't available back then. I think like the most available thing you could have was like a MySpace page, and everybody was
You still
changing
had
the
to go
colors.
for that?
Yeah. When you make your own MySpace, people had music on their MySpace. They had autoplays on the MySpace. They had slideshows and stuff. I remember MySpace, man. It's crazy. I'm so old now. Yeah, that was then.
I was Googling how do I autoplay the music?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you done Photoshop, you done web development, so now you got a little bit of like a nice portfolio. So what was next in your trajectory after you built the website and the brand started working for you?
So, having an African background, I'm pretty sure many Africans here can relate. But they were like, I was like, I'm about to do something in art and fashion. They're like, no. They're like, hell no, and whatnot. So I was like, well, I always knew where I was gonna go, and I always knew wherever I put my mind to, that's what I was gonna create. So even though they said no, I put myself in a career field that I could still focus on my passion. So I went to web development, and I went to one semester of college, and then everything that was being taught to me, I was like, I know all this stuff already. So for me, I felt more like it was a waste for me to keep coming, and spending so much money and everything like that. And I was like, honestly, I could just put this into myself, invest it into myself, and then push it towards my passion. Now, I think once you know where you're gonna go and you know how to develop it, I think everybody should always take that risk, because you never know. You don't want to lose out on your passion and then have regrets about, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, things about it. So, I took that, but I built up while I was learning the whole entire time, and while I was going to school, I also did have a portfolio of work, a body of work from graphic design, from small projects I did projects with bigger companies and things like that. So when I transitioned over from being in school to like now I'm trying to be a freelance web developer or graphic designer, I had a whole portfolio to take with me to these interviews and stuff like that. So, so at the time, even now, like if you try to get into any field, like especially people are transitioning now a lot into IT, they're more so want your experience rather than your degree. You know, if they can see that you can develop, you know, whatever tasks need to be done efficiently, they'll take you over somebody that's going to a university for I don't know how many years. You know, so especially in the technology era that we are in now, just learn the coding, learn, you know, the basic skills that you need, and you're gonna go far from it. So that's what I did. You know, I had a portfolio. They looked at my portfolio. They asked me, can I do this? Can I do that? I did it efficiently. They hired me, you know. So I was working for a design agency in DC, and, you know, I enjoyed my time there and whatnot. But even then, I was still like, dang, I still want to work on my stuff, you know, work on my brand, you know, and stuff like that. So I was able to work a 9 to 5 and come home and then also work on my passion as well.
That's key. That's key.
Yeah.
And so I know, like, you know, through that agency, you work with a lot of different companies, and it led you to working on a bigger brand. So kind of talk about how that opportunity, you can say the name of the brand if you want, and that experience.
So, I mean, I've worked with a bunch of brands actually from when I was younger. So starting off like around the MySpace era, I was designing for this brand called Yums. And I think at the time, the brand ambassador for that brand was Soulja Boy.
Yeah, I remember Yums. I remember that.
And I had to create like mock-up designs for their brand and everything like that. And I was young, but like they just hired me for the work, and I just got paid, you know, a little sum here and there. If I knew what I knew then, I would have a bigger sum. Right. But you know, when Soulja Boy gets on a podcast, he'd be like, "I'm the first this." He really was. He really
Big
was.
Draco.
Like,
Big Draco.
I remember. He really was.
Yeah, man. This guy, he was pushing everything. He was one of the first to do everything, man. And like, as far as YouTube goes, like he was an artist-wise. Everything he said, I remember when we were all trying to Google how to do you and all this Superman and Batman. I remember I was playing football. Coach was like, I was playing free safety at the time, so free safety, strong safety. You're Superman, you're Batman. We was doing things and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, that dude, he was a pioneer in a lot, you know. And he had a shoe brand at that time, and I was helping him, you know, designing and stuff like that. But then moving on, I'd say this is probably like 14, 15. I think this is when Twitter, around the era of Twitter. So I was going through this phase. I was like a skater dude at the time.
Okay.
I was this time when I'm around, so yeah, I'm a lot of skaters and whatnot. So I'm around the skate culture, the skate fashion and stuff like that. So I had a lot of Vans, and I was bored one day. So what I did was I cut up a bunch of my Vans boxes, and they're all cardboard. And for some reason, I just started creating a shoe out of cardboard, you know. And then what I did once I finished my masterpiece, I was like, damn, right? So I looked at the shoe, and it took me maybe 4 hours to complete. And I was like, I ain't about to do the other side. this one side is good enough, you know. But so yeah, I took that and I took a picture of it, and I even wore it and everything, and then I put it on Twitter, and then like it blew up. Like next thing I know, I had this lady contact me at the time. She was working with Vans as a marketing director or something like that. Her name was Nikki Scoggins, and she was a cool white lady. And reached out to me. She was like, tell me about how you came up with the idea. What made you, how long it took, all the details. And she created a blog. It's still up there till now. And then after a while, that I transitioned over to. They asked me to transition over to helping them design, special footwear for Vans Vault. I don't know if many people just know Vans, but Vans has a exclusive section where they're like their designs, and it's not something that you see at your mall. It's called Vans Vault. So some real custom Vans are in there, but I helped produce a lot of different designs for a while, and for that I got free pairs of Vans and all that stuff. So I mean, this whole entire time, I like my work is speaking for itself, and I'm building these clientele and things like that nature. And then from there, I moved on to the design agency. And from the design agency, the lady I was working with, my manager at the time, she was like, "Man, Chaun, we all know that you're heavy in fashion, and there's an opportunity to do a collab with Converse and things of that nature." So I moved on to Converse, helped a few projects with that one, and then from there I built up another portfolio around footwear and met some more people, and I transitioned over to working with this brand called Level 13. And the guy's name, his name was Antonio. Antonio now, though he's still a CEO of the company, he's more focused now on being like an official in Atlanta. So you guys can Google him. You're gonna see him. He's all into that now. But he reached out to me and he was like, "I would like for you to help me design my entire men's footwear design."
Okay.
And everything like that. So I was like, at first I was hesitant. I was like, "No, I'm good," and because I didn't really want to work for anybody at this time. I'm like, I have enough knowledge and everything. Like, I want to expand on my own. So I didn't want to work with Nike, Converse, Vans, or anybody. I wanted to work for myself. But then I looked at his page. You know, I like the fact that he would help out his community, because I'm big on that. I'm big on trying to network with others and help others, put them in the right spots to you know, better themselves and, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
Like that. So work with him, and I reached back out to him. I was like, "You know what? Let's work together." He was like, "Why'd you change your mind?" And then I, you know, described what I saw from his page, and I liked the, you know, his mindset. He was like, "Great." And then from there, so his manufacturer is the same manufacturer Buscemi used. I don't know if you guys remember Buscemi, but that was a brand that was heavy and it was moving fast. But now it's a dying brand. But it's an Italian manufacturer that they use. So you know, so they had like a lot of material sourcing I had to do, and sampling I had to do, and all that knowledge. You know, I built around more knowledge and a more understanding of how to produce footwear. And then after that, I left them and just like, all right, I'm ready to do my own thing now. And that's like the whole timeline. That's like a long-winded response, but yeah.
Nah, I think people needed to hear that, and that's, man, your story's really just like a testament of one, like being a self-starter, like teaching yourself Photoshop, teaching yourself web development, putting yourself out there, getting these Vans idea, but then also just like God like bless you with a lot of like design ability, because like there's no way I'm gonna take 9 Vans boxes and start cutting them up in order to create a shoe. Like that was just never like my idea at all. So like you're definitely working in your purpose and definitely doing what you're supposed to be doing. So that's dope, man. It's just, man, I feel like he gave us so much so far. Like your story is just like, you have to write a book, documentary. Like
it's coming.
Yeah, whenever that comes, you know, I'm front rowing at the premiere. Got this in black.
Seriously.
Yeah, and but as I'm going through, it might sound like everything's just shooting straight forward and up. Trust me, like. I'm gonna let everybody know, like there's hardships in between there, like and those hardships really push you to learn more and do more, you know. So like I think when I was building websites for people, there was this period in time where I was like, you know, I understand what it is to be an entrepreneur and try to build an online presence. So at the time, I was like offering my website for free. I mean, my website services for free, and then I would like make it a contest. But it wouldn't be based on likes. It would be get your fan base to tell me why you deserve this website. And then, you know, I would read all the comments and stuff like that. I had a little competition there going on, and then I would give out websites for free. And that would bring more traffic and more business to me at the time. So, you know,
smart.
Yeah. And then if bigger companies, I would go through the agency, and smaller companies, I would just, like mom and pops, I help them directly and then work with a budget that they can work with. So, you know, at that time, you know, I was helping a lot of people, you know, figure out how to get online and you know, stuff, because it's difficult. So
Yeah.
development. Let's get more into your brand. So the brand now is called Chaun Collins, but I remember at first it had a previous name. So talk about the previous name, how it came about, and even talk about the transition from the previous name to now choosing Chaun Collins as your brand name.
Okay. So prior to Chaun Collins, it was Gander, as you mentioned. So right after working with Antonio, and his brand at the time was called Level 13, LVL _ XIII. Okay, that's 3, right?
Yeah, that's 3.
Yeah, Level 13. So yeah, after getting that experience and everything like that, I then pursued, developing my own products. So I would source the materials, the leathers from an Italian manufacturer, and then I would get soles, because that's like the most complex part of designing a shoe, and that's the most expensive part.
I was about to say, I heard that's pretty expensive from soles.
So once you get the sole, you figure out the design. I got the sole, put the design together, got the mold from it in China, which was the cost brought it way down, and then I get the materials outsourced from Italy, and then from there I would put this shoe together. So I made one shoe, which was the burgundy shoe, but I made it not knowing if it would do well. But I was using my Instagram and everything like that for it. Like most of the stuff that I've done, like I've just experimented with it, put it out, and then boom, something happens.
Right.
Then I know that I have something that's definite, that can work out. So when I put that burgundy shoe online on Instagram, it automatically blew up. Like people are hitting me up left and right for it, and I was like, "Wow, this is crazy!" Because I only made one pair. I wasn't expecting everybody to come and request this shoe. So, and like I just wasn't prepared for it. But once I understood the market, I started getting that one produced. So I produced more pairs of that burgundy one, but it's like so limited because I was getting so much traction at the time under Gander footwear. A company named Gander Mountain. So before I go there, I'll tell you how I designed the brand. So I don't know how I came up with the ideas per se, but I went with a goose, and I was like, I think of concepts around a goose, and we all know the story of the goose that laid the golden egg, and then that egg would bring riches to the farmer and stuff like that. Without the extended part of that story, where if a farmer ends up, losing his good fortune, but just the beginning half of that story.
Just take that first half.
Yeah,
stick with that.
just that part. So for me, it was so Gander also means look. And then so I put it all together. It's like I'm creating something for my family, and this concept that I have is going to be good for my family financially and things like that nature. So it was like, look at my golden egg, which are my shoes. So so I was like, all right, cool, this makes sense. Gander footwear, I'm going on with that, and that's what I'm gonna use. So the traction was great. I got a lot of requests for shoes and stuff like that, and a lot. It was just, everything was just working well, and I wasn't expecting it. But with not being fully prepared, this company called Gander Mountain came out to me. They're like, based on our Google analytics, we see that most of our clients are coming to your page looking for footwear instead of our page. And what blew my mind was like, when I went to their website, Gander Mountain, they sell like, it's an outdoors place, like rafts and guns and stuff like that.
Squinting it already.
Yeah.
I'm getting angry already.
Yeah, it was crazy. They just came out of nowhere, and like I didn't think like they sell shoes. That's not their main thing, They're resellers for like bigger brands like Nike and Adidas and stuff like that, for camping and sporting goods and stuff like that.
Right.
So they put a cease and desist on my brand, and at the time, I have a lot of aunts and uncles that are lawyers, so they already knew what I was doing, and I told them, like, look, they're trying to come after me. I got this email. What do we do?
Right.
So I gave it to them. They checked it, figured out what we could do in return, and submitted it to them. So basically, I had to give up my brand name, but you know, for y'all out there, this is another business, you know. But you can go online and let's say Google's making a come up, right? We don't know. Let's say it's not the Google that we know now, but you can see there's potential in Google. What you can do for like business purposes wise is create. Google has 2 O's. You can go Google and then put 3 O's and then purchase that domain. And then from there, like when Google slowly builds up and they figure out that sometimes their customers are putting 3 O's instead of just 2, they'll purchase that domain from you, and you can, you know, make a profit from it. So basically, though I had Gander footwear on almost all my products, which I had to stop producing, I had to sell what I could sell, and then after that, that was it. I purchased the domain, so I lost in that, but they still had to purchase the domain back from me. So I still gained a little bit in that, and I was able to put that into transitioning on to Chaun Collins, and I didn't really want to go with Chaun Collins because I feel like my name sounds like a basketball or football player, because it doesn't sound too like eloquent, like, you know, Christine Dior and stuff like that, you know. But that's why I decided to go with, and everybody liked it because my first name starts with a C, Chaun, and they think it's different, it's unique. And I was like, all right, I guess we're running with it, and that's how I started, you know, from Gander to Chaun Collins, you know.
Okay, so I don't know if I want to ask starting the brand or actual like footwear design. Let's get into, okay, I'm somebody, I'm interested, I have a design for a sneaker. How do I go from this design on this sneaker to paper to actually having a company to, like you said, getting it molded and things of that nature? Kind of like walk us through that process.
Okay, so like it depends on what you want to do. So there's an option, you can go the cobbler route. And cobbler basically is an individual that breaks and develops shoes. Okay. So if you guys know shoe surgeon, that's kind of like what he does. Yeah. He'll take material. Yeah. He basically makes like customs, you know, custom shoes, cool. Custom dunks, custom whatever. But he'll outsource the material, and you know, whether it's shoes or clothing, it's the same thing. If you see something that you like a garment, you like the size or fit, you can take that garment, put it down, and then sketch it out, get the pattern for it, and then you can create your own, you know, custom whatever from it. So basically, that's how you start. You started off with if the going shoe surgeon route, you can take your Jordan 1 or your Dunks or whatever shoe you want, take it apart, and then take all the stitching out of it, lay it down, and then you can trace all the different pieces. Then you can take those pieces and your pattern, and then you can put it on different leathers and silhouettes that you want to use to create a new silhouette. My bad. But yeah, so that's basically, you can go the cobbler route, which is, you know, going that way, or you can you know, do it where you're the designer and you're getting different parts filled in from different avenues. So depending on how involved you want to be, the cobbler route, to get started with that, just get materials, get leathers you can get them from Michael's craft store. You can get leathers from off the internet, you know, just get whatever fabric you want and then put it down. Then if you're creating a new template or new design, whatever it might be, you know, you just draw it down and you match it to the sizing of your foot. So you'd have to trace your foot to get the right measurement. And then from there, you can kind of build up from that perspective, and then make the side panels, make the top. So everything above the sole is called an upper. Okay. So you can, you know, transition everything you want on the upper. Then getting the sole or sourcing the sole. That's what I was trying to say. So sourcing the sole for your shoe. Now you can make your own mold. There's many ways to do it. Rubber casting and all these different techniques. Yeah. So especially now the possibility to make a sole is endless. But you can get a sole or use a sole that from another manufacturer, and then build your shoe from up that and go up. And all it takes is just you stitching. So you've got your pattern, you've got your materials, and now all you have to do is cut those materials and then create your stitchings. And then from there you have dang, I forgot the thing. The cast. Is it cast? But it's like a mold of a foot, and then you put your upper over the foot, over the cast. We're gonna say cast for now, but I feel like it's not cast. But you put your upper over it, and then it secures a certain shape.
Got you.
Last, that's what it's called. It's called a last. Okay, so you take your last, which is basically like
Y'all
a foot
learning
mold.
some real shoe game today, okay?
Yeah. He's getting the keys.
So once you get that, you get your foot mold, you put your upper around it, and then from there you can flip it over, add your glue, put your sole to your shoe, then take the last off, and then do the stitching all around the sole to make the sole go with the mold. So that's the cobbler way, and then if you don't have the experience from creating soles, you can outsource them from Amsterdam. You can outsource. I've also used manufacturers from Amsterdam as well. I mean Portugal as well. Portugal, Italy, and China. So I'm telling you guys different avenues you can take for different shoes you can make. So, but yeah, so that's how you make it the cobbler way. Now, the way that I do it, I do it the cobbler way. I know I have experience doing the cobbler way, but for me, like, I'm ready to go. So I have like design concepts. I get my concepts out. I get them down. So my art. Well, I always love collage, and I like designing collages and stuff like that. And I also like when I went on to digital printing and stuff like that. I got into digital collages and stuff like that. So that's basically how I create my shoes. So I'm gonna tell you my own design process. So what I do is look for different soles and different uppers that I like.
Okay.
Right, and I might see a shoe that might have a low sole, or a shoe that might have a high sole, or a shoe might be made of leather or suede. And I'm like, if I blend all these up, this could be a good shoe. So that's what I do. I go in Photoshop. I take shoes from different places that I see them, Sense or Farfetch. There's different designer shoes, and I just take different P's and Q's from them, and then I put it all together and make one shoe, and that's my shoe. And then from there, I go and design the concept. I go from a TUI to CAD, and then from there I do the whole fashion designers know this as well. What do you call it when you're making, it's like a chart of everything from the color to the I forgot what it's called.
I'm just proud that I know what CAD is.
Yeah, but you write all that stuff down, and then from there I send it off to my manufacturers. So depending on what the type of shoe I'm trying to create, if I'm not making an inexpensive shoe, I'll send it to China. If I'm making a shoe that I want to have good quality but to be a little bit more cost effective, I'll send it to Portugal. But if I want to have like a more expensive shoe for like a select clientele, I'll go to Italy.
Okay.
But the price I'll charge much higher for it.
Right.
So yeah, so I'll source the material. I'll outsource the service. They'll create my shoe, and then we'll go back and forth through sampling, see if what's good or what's not good, what to change, what the shape should look like, and what shoelaces, different materials. Then from there we go into the box presentation. What comes with the box, the dust bag, the ribbon, the colors, all that stuff. And then from there we move on to production, whereas we choose a set amount of shoes we're going to make. Usually I start off at 100, and if it's going well, I'll go above 100 pairs. And, from there they ship it here. And after that is my work to put it in the stores or sell it myself or have pop-up shops or things of that nature. And that's like the full rundown,
Wow.
That was thorough. I appreciate that one.
And actually, to keep on going after that, like if you guys look at the Balenciaga triple S's, that's the big chunky sole thing. Their soles are made in China. And like
Really?
Yeah, it's outsourced in China. But and I look at shoes, and I look at shoes that we pay $20 for, and then I look at shoes that we pay like thousands of dollars for. And I'm like, dang, if they only knew how much it really costs to produce that shoe. Yeah, it's just the name that gets slapped on.
Right.
That makes like the Balenciaga, the trainer sock one that you can just slip on. That one you can make for like, depending on if it's a good quality shoe, like $30 a shoe. And
I believe it.
Y'all literally paying like $1,000. Yeah. That Flynet material is so easy to get, and then you just put it on the sole.
Like this is a different accessory, but someone was talking about like the LV, like those the bags everyone be wearing, the girls be wearing, to go to work, whatever. Like some of them are made out of canvas. Some of them are not even leather. Like the ones that people spend thousands of dollars. Like it's canvas with the logo on it. Like you're not even paying that amount for leather. That was just wild to me.
Yeah, just slap it on the logo. That's all it is.
Yeah, like you breaking down that process though is key for people who are interested in joining this industry and trying to figure out like how they could start a shoe brand. One thing that popped into my head as you were talking and telling your story of coming from New York to the DMV area. Obviously you've seen fashion in New York, you've seen fashion in DMV. What do you think the future of fashion is in the DMV area? How does it differ from New York? And, what are things people might want to keep in mind if they're someone in the DMV trying to enter into this field?
Okay. So, one thing I would say, for the DMV, it's very versatile. And I say that because there's people coming from New York, people coming from LA, people from Atlanta, and it's like a big old mixing pot here, Right. The DMV, if believe it or not, like where the most millionaires are in the DMV, within the state, in the United States. It's not LA, it's not New York, it's mainly the DMV, So with that being said, like the financial aspect of it is like if you create something here, it's going to sell very quickly because people here have the means of, paying for it or whatever it might be. But one thing about comparing New York to DMV, if I want to create a designer brand and I want to like showcase it or just have like an influence that, of people that can positively influence my brand to excel into that high-end market. Me personally, I'm gonna take it to Soho, and Soho is an area where you have a lot of designer brands and people walking around. They could be working for different fashion houses and stuff like that. So it's a great hub for somebody that's like interested in getting into fashion and high-end fashion and stuff like that. However, when you bring it to the DMV, there's no space for that. There's no hub for y'all, and that's why I think the DMV mainly lacks on its fashion presence here. And every time when I connect with people from the DMV, one main problem they always say is that, it's competition here and somebody's trying to do this and trying to stop them from doing that. But honestly, I feel like competition is the best way for you to grow. Everybody needs competition. When you embrace that competitive mindset, it pushes you forward to getting more creative and, outsourcing things that, this person doesn't have so that you do stand out, Competition is healthy. I think everybody needs to get over that fact that, they're not trying to build together. Building will happen, If you connect well with somebody or they see potential in what you have, it'll merge, But that's my main thing. My main advice for the DMV, like, it has the potential. You just got to create a hub here,
right?
Whether it be in DC or VA or MD, y'all have to have somewhere where you can build a brand and say, okay, let's take it to this platform because I know I take it here, it might potentially be worldwide, you know. But people here build a brand and be like, all right, cool, I'm going to New York. And there's competition all over New York. So good luck, you know what I'm saying? So if you think the competition's hard here, imagine what it is in New York. So, you know, but yeah, that's my biggest take from, you know, being in DMV and being in New York, the fashion scene and all that stuff. Like, yeah, I got potential. I just need to, you know, build off that potential. Like my friend Dante, he makes jackets. His name on Instagram is WizzleX, WIZZOLX.
I've heard of Dante.
Yeah, that's my boy, man. We did a collab. Like when my last shoot, I had my shoes in it, and then he had his rose jacket and everything like that. So we did a collab. I put his jacket with my shoes, and then we posted it, you know, saying just marketing and everything like that. So a lot of people wanted to know where to get the jackets from, and a lot of people also wanted to know where to get my shoes from and stuff like that. Yeah. So it was a good collab. And you know, Dante is a close friend of mine. Like we've done fashion shows together. You know,
he always does his Rose fashion show.
Yeah, and I'm always like either back scene or you'll see my products, you know, on the models. I remember the first time he did it. My first slip-on shoes, they were all in the fashion show. All the models had them, and with his jacket, you know. So it's always like there's a lot of potential out here. Even my boy Carl, he has the brand Pray For.
Okay, I've heard of that as well too. Yeah.
PREY 4. Like his brand is popping. It's big in the DMV, and he has like, you know, it's its own aesthetic, you know. So, and he's a really cool, down to earth guy, and you know, so is Dante. Dante's real quiet, you know, to himself. But I guess that's the most masterminds, you know, they like that. You know? So, you know, I'm kind of like that, but I'm slowly becoming more outgoing. So it's a learning process. But yeah, there's talent here, and you can collab with talent. You just have to give it time and just master your own craft, you know. Right. That make it you. And that's about it.
And if, you know, WizzleX, Pray For, you guys want to come on the pod too, you guys are welcome.
Yeah,
the platform is here for you, so we appreciate that. I think pass him his shoe. Talk about one of your the model that you have on your foot.
Okay, so this one here is like one of my. Dang, I've lost so many shoes. Like, I think this was the collection I released before my new collection, which is that purple box there, looking like a mystery box. But yeah, so this one, I wanted a high top trainer that was kind of like the height of a Nike Dunk, but I wanted it to be comfortable and lightweight. You know, so the sole itself, some of you might see it or might know where it comes from or whatever, but this comes from a New Balance. Their new I forgot the number, but this is a New Balance sole.
Okay.
And I know it's comfortable because I've tried it. I tried it on before. I was like,
oh, I know. I can see the New Balance in my head now. I think it's maybe the N270 or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's new, and they did a collaboration with Calabasas. It's some C words, but it's like, but yeah, they made this sole, and I was like, man, this is a very comfortable shoe. So after that, I started off from this being the structure, this being the foundation, and then I built up from there. So you can see the colors. There's like 3 colors in here, and I wanted it like an old school type vibe to get but I also wanted it to be versatile, so I can make more colors, kind of like the Jordan 1 would do. But I didn't want to do specifically the Jordan 1 colors. So this one is like a dark navy blue with white, black, and gray, and then the sole is gum bottom. And the interior is really padded. It's really thick. My name is on the back, you know, Chaun Collins. I don't know if y'all see that. And then my name's also on the inside, but y'all probably can't see that from here. And then I went, if you look at the front of the shoe, it has a butterfly on the tab. And from changing from gander and goose, I chose a butterfly. But there's a lot behind the butterfly because of my not only having to restructure my brand, but also my incident, you know. This is why I roll with a butterfly, because like growing just like a butterfly. Like I always put these things together with like, but just like a caterpillar. Yeah. So like, just the way the butterfly goes from a caterpillar goes from growth into a butterfly and spreads its wings, and is a totally new concept. That's basically how I look at on it, like my life, during that time. And I was, everything was moving fast, everything was doing good and great, and life just stopped me, and but I was able to fortunately bounce back and come back with this new design and carry this butterfly as the logo to symbolize all that. Yeah, that's how this brand, this shoe came out. But yeah, this one's pretty cool.
Yeah. And your story, I don't know. Do you want to tell about the incident? You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I have to get comfortable doing this. Like, usually me from the so if you guys like later on try to look for my page, you're gonna see like there's three different pages.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, well, this boy got a couple Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay, so you spoke. I think you alluded a little bit about the butterfly. You know how it goes from the caterpillar to cocoon to a butterfly. But get more into it. Tell us about the incident that kind of birthed this the symbolism of the butterfly for you.
Are we live?
Yes.
my bad, y'all. All right, so yeah, I mean, so 2014, I like launched my brand. In 2015, like the progress I was making was crazy. I was meeting a whole bunch of celebrities. I was going state to state with my friend doing pop-up shops. Shout out to Flex Entertainment, Clayton. That's my boy, and that's my business partner as well. But
okay.
We went from state to state doing events. Shout out Sinatra Couture as well. That's my boy Lamb. He does amazing sewing and everything. So what we created was at the time was like a pop-up tour of brands. So just like how artists get together and do tours in different cities, we had that same idea as well. And we put our talents together, merged together our contacts of who we know in different places and stuff like that. We met a lot of celebrity clientele coming to events and our events and stuff like that. Just build off a lot of networks and stuff like that. It was great. It was a great time. But in the midst of that, life was fast. So money was coming in fast because like my shoes sell out like in a week. Mind you, I sell like 100 pairs each. And at the time, I was making each shoe was like around $240. So it's like 24K I was making per collection, So we were everywhere doing everything. Funding was, it was just a fun life. And then in 2015, like nearing the end, and I met a bunch of different people and different celebrities and stuff like that. I was closing in on this project with this guy named Blake Ricciardo, and his name he's the owner of Popular Demand. It's a big brand in Fairfax. Yeah,
I have a couple bucket hats from them.
Yeah, so he was a cool dude. Give me a lot of knowledge. He was like, man, if I knew what I knew then, I wouldn't even open up a storefront. I would have just used the online for most of my sales and stuff like that, because he was telling me like stores like Karma Loop, they bring on a bunch of different brands and they make a lot of sales from worldwide. So he was telling me about that, and just a lot of different things, just give me a lot of knowledge and game. We were doing moving on stuff with Nike and stuff like that, but just everything was just about to explode that year. And right before we closed all that, so what was it, October 2nd or something, October 2nd or October 3rd. And this is like right now a motto for me in my life, like especially if I'm planning something, it's not working out, I just leave it alone. I'm like, all right, we'll figure something out, maybe not force it, we're gonna figure it out, Right. So but this day we were going out, everybody was at my place. Everybody usually leaves from my place and we're going to the city and then turn up. So we pregame here and then go into the city. That's what we did. My cousins called me though. They were like, they had a party in DC. And I was like, all right, cool. And my best friend was with me. We drove down there. We were drinking a little bit. So I was a bit buzzed or whatever. But I was safely driving. So But yeah, we driving into the city, and one thing that annoys me is like when you're driving into somewhere, but like somebody else has a GPS, and they forget to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
that joint is annoying. So that's what happened. And going into DC, it splits into 2 different parts from BW. And so we're on the far right side, but we need to be on the far left side. So that's like 4 lanes I have to cross. So when I'm crossing over, right before there's a split. There's a bank or whatever you want to call it, like a what you call sidewalk or something like that. And I made the turn, but in making the turn, the car back tire popped, and it was like raining heavy this night and everything. So I was like, damn. I went to the back of the car, put the car in the jack. Took the tire off, but the whole changing the spare tire type thing. So in the midst of me doing that, it's raining, the jack slips and falls. The car falls down to the ground. So it was a whole crank up the jack, slide it, crank up the jack, a whole nother process. But anyway, I managed to get the tire back on because my friend was no help at all. Yeah. This man was just standing watching. He's like, Chaun, you got it? I was freezing my ass off too, just like him, man. But yeah, I put the tire back on. We go around, and we're like, man, we got the tire on, but we still want to party. Right. So we soaking wet. I was like, all right, I got the cologne right here. We sprayed ourselves. We blast the heat. You know what I'm saying?
Made it work.
Yeah, air dry. I'm like, getting all the heat. You know what I'm saying? We drive to the location where the party's at. We pull up to the party. And when we get there, everybody looks like they're having fun, right? But the party was over. Like the drinks are gone, the food is gone. Everybody's done playing the games, but everybody's lit. Like you can just see, or you can just feel the energy in the room, right. And everybody's like, but they still want to party. And I was like, we want to still party too. So, right. We're like, I grabbed my other 2 cousins, and they drove with me in my car and with my best friend. So we went to the Howard Homecoming. Somebody suggested that we go to a Howard Homecoming event that was around the corner because the artist is going to be there and stuff like that. It's going to be big. So we pull up there, and there's cops all around the block, because they're a special guest. And the line is like wrapped around the corner. And this is in A Street where they have the trolley.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So which is gentrified because I went there and I'm seeing all these condos up, completely different place. Right. But yeah, so we get there, and I'm looking at the line. It's like, dang, this joint's crazy. So we go around the block, and I park the car, and then we're all men, and we're all been drinking. So we dispersed and go pee, right? So then we regrouped and everything like that. And then we're like, all right, look, we could stay in the back of this line, in the back of the line, and wait this time to go in, or we can cut down this alley right here and then go to the front of the line. And we was like, we're gonna cut down the alley.
I'm about to say, that makes sense.
We're gonna cut down the alley, get in the front. So, and it's late at this time, but we're not thinking anything is gonna happen or anything negative, So, we started walking down the alley, and we're all chilling, having fun. We're blasting music, we gotta get around the corner and have, just turn up and get inside the club. But by the time we get halfway down the alley, like what I see, like at the end of the alley is like something silver just shining in the light. I was like, "The hell is that?" I was just looking down, and then as we keep walking, like then there's a figure that comes with the shadow of that with that silver thing I'm seeing, and then all I'm hearing is like a person saying, "Get down on the ground, take everything out your pockets." I'm like, this is wild. Like, I don't know what's happening right now, but I'm in shock, right? Mm-hmm. So the person keeps coming towards us, and you can see. Well, I saw that we all had this initial twitch, like we were all gonna run, but because nobody ran, we all stayed. Mm-hmm. So it's like we were walking down. I saw this moment, like everybody did the same thing at the same time. But like because none of us darted, like we all just stood there. So when he got closer, the individual got closer, my cousins are getting down, they're taking stuff out their pockets, my best friend's getting down, taking out stuff. But me, I'm still trying to evaluate like what's happening right now. And it's like the movie, like it's just cycling in my head, like nah, this can't be, you know. So I'm still standing up, and again, the figure's like, oh, so you're not gonna get down? My cousin Knox, shout out to Knox. My cousin Knox, he pulls me down. He's like, Chaun, get down. I'm like, and then when he does that, like, it kind of like snaps me out of the phase I was in. So I begin to get down and whatnot, but I don't get down fully to the ground. So what ends up happening, I keep seeing him come closer and closer and closer, and this guy has like no mask on or nothing. Like, he just doesn't care. So I was like, I can't chance it, you know. So I was like, I'm not about to die tonight. I said, my cousin's not about to die tonight, and neither my two cousins are not about to die tonight, and neither is my friend. So I was like, what I did was, by the time I got close enough to the ground, I looked up, and like I had this thought to tackle him. Now, I've been boxing all my life. I've been doing mixed martial arts all my life, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, kickboxing. Like, I've done it, you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say in that moment I was trained to do what I was been doing all my life, but it helped me, you know. But that split second instinct decision, like, I can't say that was me that reacted to it. But as he came closer, I just like said, I'm gonna tackle him. And next thing I know, I'm grabbing him and I'm bringing him to the ground. And while I'm doing so, a shot goes off. And then it's crazy. When we hit the floor, there's chaos. There's chaos now, because like everybody's like, what's going on? So my cousin tries to run over and try to help the situation, knocks. So, and then another shot goes off, but I'm still fighting the guy for the gun, you know. So I have his hand and I have the gun, and I'm fighting for the gun, and I managed to get the gun out of his hand. But as I'm doing so, like, I just see at my peripheral, my cousin hit the fence, and then like he had a light shirt on at the time. So when he hit the fence, all I could see was blood just coming from him, you know. So I was like, dang, you know. But I saw it, but I had to still fight for this to get this gun. I managed to get the gun out of the guy's hand, and you know, unfortunately for him, I ended up using the gun on him. So I shot him twice in the side, and he later, you know, passed from his injuries. But in the midst of that, my best friend came running over. He was like, Chaun, get up, we gotta go. I was like, I don't know what's happening right now, but I can't move. He was like, what? It's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I can't move. So he ran around the corner to go get the cops that were in the vicinity. Right. And he was like, yo, you know, guys, come help me, because my friends, they just got shot. And they didn't believe him at first, you know. So he ran back, you know, and then he ran back to us, and he was like, yo, are you guys okay? And then while he was running back, now, I still had a gun in my hand, and at this point, it wasn't adrenaline anymore. It was like, this guy tried to kill me in my face. It was turned into anger. So what I did, I put the gun to his head, and like I like click like more than 4 times, but nothing came out, you know. So you know, what was meant to be and what was meant to happen happened, you know, and anything that was extra above it, it didn't, you know. So but with that, my cousin, after I put the gun down, I looked over to my cousin. I can just, you know, it's like the movies, you know, how somebody, you know, breathes when they're about to die, or look. I was like, so I couldn't move, but I could try to crawl. So I was reaching out to him, his foot, or at least touch his foot. You know, I was like, look, Knox, it's gonna be okay. Like, don't die. You know what I'm saying? Are you good? And stuff like that. And you know, I'm reaching over to him, and he's concerned about himself. He's kind of like in shock. So I'm not really hearing a reply back. So you know, he runs around. My friend runs around again the second time and call the cops. And this time they believe him, so they call backup. And there's like 13 cops. Now, while I'm there, my other cousin Mani, he doesn't remember anything that happened. He blacked out. But Mani goes and picks up the gun that I just put down from the guy. And Mani's now pressed up against the wall for what reason. I don't know who told him to be James Bond. I don't know what he was doing, but the cops rush into the alley. And thank God, like, they weren't, you know, trigger happy, because when they rushed in, like, they instantly saw him with the weapon. So everybody turned their attention to him. Put the gun down, put the gun. I was like, Monty, what are you doing? Put the damn gun down. So like eventually he does that, and you know, they flood the alley. They arrest Monty, of course, because this dude on have the gun in his hand. Right. And they arrest my best friend as well. Like I didn't understand that. But and then they were like, what's going on with the situation? They took the guy first. Then they took so when I'm saying take the ambulance came for the guy first because he was the most critical. Mm-hmm. Then it came for my cousin second because he was the second most critical, and I was the last one to get pulled in the ambulance. But before all that happened, cops are like, what happened? They wanted my full, statement, yeah, about everything that happened. And me, I'm thinking I'm about to die. So like, when they ask me, what's your name? I'm like, Chaun. They're like, how do you spell that? I'm like, Chaun. I'm like saying everything quick, trying to save my breath, you know what I'm saying? And everything like that. But, you know, they were like, why can't you move? What's going on? I was like, I don't know. So what ended up happening was when I first initially reached to tackle the guy, you know, like if somebody's standing up like this and the force is coming from this way, more than likely you're going to collapse this way. Mm-hmm. So what happened was his top body was over my entire back. So what he did, so when that happened, he instantly shot me in my spine. And so as I hit the ground, I was like paralyzed from the waist down. So, you know, I had to learn how to walk again. And that took forever. I missed birthdays, I missed holidays, I missed outings and stuff like that. And it was a lot of pain, a lot of medication, you know, a lot of recovery, just a lot, you know, I had to go through. But I'm always grateful for the people that were around me, you know, because in that moment I didn't cry too much because of the pain, but because of the people who came. Like the very next day, there were so many people lined up to come to the hospital, like from family, friends, coworkers, managers, ex-girlfriends, like everybody was there. And you know, it was so many people that had, like, the nurses were doing like 5-minute intervals with every person. Like, all right, you guys gotta leave, next person come in. Like, it was a lot, you know. And every day throughout my rehab, I always had a visitor, you know, and it'd be coworkers. I'd be like, damn, who told you? You know what I'm saying? And then I'll start crying because they didn't really have to come. And they'll always bring me, I love mangoes and I love grapes. So they always bring me mangoes and grapes and stuff like, you ain't entering my room without mangoes and grapes, you know. But yeah, it was I had a good support system. And, you know, I wasn't depressed too much, you know, though it's like, I couldn't get up to use the bathroom, you know, stuff like that, like tasks that we all, you know, take for granted, like small things like that, I couldn't do it on my own. So it was embarrassing, and nurses had to move me around and, you know, and all that stuff. But with that, like, it humbled me down a lot to understand, you know, about life, understand about people, understand that, like, I'm not going to miss things, important things, like for my family, for my friends, you know, and I try to be there as much as I can. And yeah, like I said in the beginning, opening, like, if things don't work out, I just cool it now, because like there were so many signs that I should just forget the night and just go back home. But persevered, man. I mean, I went through it. My cousin, he's fine. You know, he made it out the hospital within a week. It was crazy. Like, the bullet, if you look at his spine, the bullet exited exactly where his spine is, but like it went around and exited through his spine, which is crazy. Like, I don't know, yeah, he's blessed to be here as well. That's, you know,
God, bro.
Yeah. And thankfully, you know, I have my feet, my legs, I can walk, I can run, everything works. You know, I'm grateful for that. You know, a lot of therapy, but, you know.
How long was the process learning how to walk?
It was long. So, like, it was like 8 months in a hospital, physical therapy, like rigorous, everyday physical therapy. And now, I was at Howard, that's where they had me. And I had a great physical therapist, and the nurses there were amazing. They're like my mom. So every time I call him my physical therapist, he was from Trinidad. He was like, don't worry, man. You're going to be okay. I was like, all right. You know, so shout out to Mr. Leonard, great physical therapist. He's retired now, but like I call him Pops. So like we were real close. Now like I can call him up whenever. I have him on Facebook too. And sometimes his band be having shows. I come up to the show, support. And then every time I release a shoe, I make sure I give him a pair, and then I go to the hospital, give the nurses that took care of me a pair and stuff like that. Just to show them my appreciation every time. So every time I release anything, they get it first. And yeah, so they took care of me for 8 months rigorously, and then outside it took them another 2 or 3 years for me to fully be comfortable with walking and being independent on my own and stuff like that. But yeah.
Wow, man. One, thank God for your life. Two, thank you for sharing that story with us. We appreciate it. I know it's not easy to recount and relive that, but we truly appreciate that. Your story is just powerful overall. Like I said, when we talked on the phone, I knew this was going to be a great episode because you had so much to offer, so much going through life that you accomplished, you went through. So we appreciate it. We're definitely gonna continue to support the brand. So make sure. Where can people find you on socials?
So on Instagram at Chaun Collins. So at ChaunCollins, and then on my websites and all that stuff. If you want a pair, you can DM me. You can look on my bio. My website's up there. You guys can check out that. But if you guys say Chaun, just know that they're all me. It's fine. It's okay. Chaun.Collins, that's me. Chaun_Collins, that's me as well. So, but yeah, I made those profiles because I didn't want to be known as the guy that got shot and make shoes. So I made different profiles to try to. But now I understand that this is part of my story. This is part of my brand.
Very powerful part.
Yeah. So yeah.
Man, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry. Like, it's just wow, bro. Like
I feel like I learned so much.
So
My
much,
mind, I
like,
feel inspired.
Yes, man.
I feel encouraged.
Chaun Collins, the golden goose that laid the egg that was rebirthed into a butterfly.
Yeah, there you go.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you guys for tuning in another episode of Got This in Black. Again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share on all our platforms, YouTube, Google, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Make sure that you follow Chaun, and not just follow Chaun, make sure you purchase a pair of sneakers, support black-owned brand support. And it's just like, man, look at those shoes. them shoes are fire. Like, don't play. So make sure you support Chaun as well. And again, we thank you for tuning in. Have a blessed day, and peace.
Yeah.